Hello everyone, Minky here with the next deck profile and the last in a while, because again I went on a hiatus. I'm only returning for these 3 decks because, like I said, I wanted to do something extra since my LPs are kind of gone. I'm not really doing any LPs at the minute, so I figured I'd do some deck profiles for now, so I've got a select few that I can do, especially since the Sacred Beasts are kind of incomplete at the minute on my channel, so I figured I'd do these 3 and get them out of the way, and then so that's the idea. It's like I said last 2 weeks ago now, as of when this video goes up, I am going to record my mill deck or my banish deck. I'm probably going to record them soon just so I can edit them in the future, in the near future, but don't expect them anytime soon because like I said, I want to hold off on them because they are important decks to me, but at the same time I do want to upgrade them and whatnot, so just so you're aware. Alright, so the boss monster of the deck, the very predictable Raviel, Lord of Phantasms. Kinda odd that this is the only one of the 3 Sacred Beasts that is actually called Phantasm out of the 3, whereas the other 2 aren't. And I think Armatile himself is called Phantasm, right? Something like that. So yeah, this is anyway, so economic normal summon set. I've got 3 copies as well, by the way, obviously. Must be special summoned from your hand by attributing 3 fiend type monsters. Each time your opponent normal summons a monster, special summon 1 Phantasm token. Fiend type, dark, level 1, 1 fast attack and defense. But it cannot declare an attack. Once per turn, you can tribute 1 monster. This card gains attack equal to the attributed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. So kind of it's got kind of 2 effects, if you will. The first one, I'm not sure if it's that good, but it's at least swarming capabilities and its token generation. That's good for links nowadays. Plus, obviously, like, if you have all 3 on the field, obviously you can't summon them or you can't summon Raviel or the token into the extra monster zone. So if you had all 3 on the field and your opponent normal summons, you would still get 2 tokens, but you wouldn't get the 3rd one. If I'm understanding correctly, yeah, you are forced into it, but the fact of the matter is that like when you activate the first 2, assuming you have no other monsters, by the way, in your other 2 monster zones, the first 2 will activate, and so will the 3rd one. But the 3rd one will then say, "Oh, you've got 5 monsters anyway. Never mind," and it just won't summon anything. So it's also a bit of a pity that you can't treat monsters for their current attack, but it is what it is. It's not. It's something. It's pretty alright, if you will, I guess. Alright, time for the normal monsters. Yeah, this one actually has normal monsters for a change, or maybe not for a change. I think the Hammond one had normal monsters, but anyway. So first of all, we have probably one of my more favourite monsters that I never really play all that much, Archfiend Soldier. Yeah, we actually have an Archfiend card in this deck, which is kind of cool. 1900 attack, 1500 defense, so not even that bad as a defender. Obviously, pretty good attacker, obviously, but especially for an Archetype monster, like as it's one that's part of an Archetype, you'd think like maybe they'd be a little bit weaker just for the sake for the fact that they're part of an Archetype as well, so that makes them a bit more powerful on its own. But no, this card's pretty good stats. They've got pretty good stats as is, so that's really nice. And that's not it. That's not the only normal monster we have in this deck. We actually have a few. The next one is Gilgarth. This one's actually weaker than Archfiend Soldier by 100 attack and 300 defense, and it's not even part of an Archetype. But 800 attack, that's a pretty decent attack stat. I think that's really good. And it's not too bad. Obviously, it's better monsters, like Archfiend Soldier, but you can only include 3 of him in the deck. So, and plus this is Fiend, so I'm a bit more limited. But hey, it's something, right? And oh hey, even more normal monsters. Next up, we have Opticlops. 800 attack, 1700 defense. So again, obviously not the best normal monster I can get because it's Archfiend Soldier, but it's still still something, and wow, I don't think I've ever actually read the text on this card, because I've just noticed the words Dark Ruler Hardess on this card. You know, so I don't think I've ever read it. I probably should, but you know, it's like one of my favourite cards as a kid was Dissolver Rock, which is kind of a, it's not really much of a monster, if you will, but I remember looking at the card text and thinking like, oh wow, it dissolves monsters, you know, that kind of thing. And I thought that sounds so cool, you know, as a kid, even though it's obviously just normal monster, it's not anything really worth playing. But yeah, this guy, a one-eyed giant that serves a Dark Ruler Hardess, which is in quotation marks for some reason. It skewers its enemies with its sharp horn, shattering them to pieces. So you'd think that would mean that it would destroy monsters in battle regardless, you know, and damage them. That'd be cool if like normal monsters gained effects based on their card text. Now that's something to look into, isn't it? You know, that's a little thing. Anyway, next up we have another Archetype monster actually, Renge, Gatekeeper of Dark World, which is odd. It's a Dark World monster, Dark World normal monster, since they were all about discarding themselves or whatever. And I think it's only one of two Dark World monsters that are normal monsters as well. The other one being Dark World Thorns, which has a pretty cool card as well. It's actually fusion material, I think. So with Silverfang of all things, which Yugi never played. So anyway. Yeah, this guy, 100 attack, but 2100 defense, so a nice war monster for yourself, which is obviously good, because you need some sort of war monster to protect yourself, to sort of like wait out the tributes for Raviel, so not too bad. Alright, next up we have, okay, the last normal monster, and wow, I sure was wrong on that Dark World comment, because there's actually 3 Dark World normal monsters, this one being Xyz, Knight of the Dark World. This guy has 800 attack and 1500 defense. So, you know, again, not bad of a you know, card to put in the deck. The name of this illustrious knight is known by all residents of Dark World. He never oppresses the commoners. So yeah, I think this guy, I don't know actually, I don't know. I was going to talk about the anime, but I'm not sure, to be honest. But yeah, pretty cool card right there. And I think he shares the same attack and defense as normal monster actually in this deck. No. Yeah, no, I was thinking of someone else. Well, no, I wasn't thinking of someone else, I was just mixing up the numbers. Alright, time for the effect monsters. First of all, we have 2 copies of Battle Fader. A Fiend type level 1, Dark, with 0 attack and defense. When the opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card from your hand and end the battle phase. If this card is special summoned with this effect, banish it when it leaves the field. So obviously that's really good for preventing, like it ends, like it's a special summon of a Fiend type monster, which is obviously good for getting out Raviel quicker, and it ends your opponent's battle phase as well, so it also kind of protects your monsters as well. Bearing in mind it does need to be a direct attack, in all fairness, but even so, that's still a +1 if you're running Fiends on the field for your Raviel, so that's not too bad. You know, especially since they're not going to be able to attack Battle Fader during that turn, so it's really nice. Next up we have Big Eye. To be fair, I kind of have a soft spot for Big Eye and Hero Shadow Scout, because Hero Shadow Scout, I think they're kind of cool a little bit, if you will. Plus they mill, you know. This guy, in all fairness, he is a flip effect monster, so you know, there's that. What his effect is, it's flip, see the 5 cards from the top of your deck, arrange them in any order you decide, and replace them on top of the deck. So, you know, it's good for getting out cards quicker or seeing what you're about to draw and whatnot. Really nice effect. Right, next up we have Blast Asmodean. If any spell trap cards are chained, inflict fire damage to your opponent. So, a very weak card, because well, not very weak, they're level 3 with fast attack, but if any spell traps are chained, then you get to inflict 500 damage to your opponent. This would probably be better off in my in one of my Armitar decks, in all fairness, because in the Armitar decks I'll actually have spells and traps to play. Not that I wouldn't have any spells and traps in this deck, but you know, as we've obviously seen at least in the UI deck. I can't remember the Hammond deck because it was ages ago, it's over 6 months ago now. But we'll at least have continuous spells. We'll at least have spells and such in the wrong one. You know what I mean? You know, we'll have a little bit of a mix, but not too much of a mix to the point where it's like, oh yeah, definitely put this card in this deck, So that card will probably be removed next time I do a deck profile on this. And next we have a card guard. It's literally called card guard, and it's kind of cool because he's actually sitting on a card as well. This card's effect: if this card is normal or special summoned, place 1 guard counter on it. So not flip summoned, but you wouldn't want to put it in the face of defense anyway. This card gains 3 attack for each guard counter on it. Once per turn, you can target one other face-up card you control. Remove 1 guard counter from this card, and if you do, place 1 guard counter on that target. If that card would ever be destroyed, remove 1 guard counter from it instead. So now, when you place the guard counter on this card initially when it's summoned, I don't think that protects it, which is really weird. But when you do move it to another card, it obviously doesn't increase the attack anymore, but it does protect them, right? And it doesn't gain 300 attack for each guard counter on the field, it just gains it for each counter on itself, for each guard counter on itself. But if you have 2 card guards in the field, then what you could do is you could, assuming they both have their own guard counters on them, you could swap their guard counters with each other, and then, by doing so, they now have the 300 boost and the defensive boost as well. So there's that. At least, so yeah, that's at least something. So I do want to see about getting more copies of this card for the deck, but that's neither here nor there, I guess, for now. Next up, we have a bunch of cards here. So we have, I'm actually going to show off a bunch all at once. Crashbug X, Y, and Z. I'll take a picture of these guys and put them on screen. So, and I'll actually showcase them, I'll actually talk about them here because I can't really see them proper. So Crashbug, now all 3 are dark, level 3, fiend type monsters. Crashbug X has 0 attack and 2000 defense, so a good defender. Crashbug Y has 1400 attack and 600 defense, so slightly better defender, but not as good an attacker. And Crashbug Z, which has 0 attack and 1500 defense, which is a little weird considering Crashbug X has 500 more defense than that. But and then they all have the effect. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 Crashbug, the next letter in the alphabet, from your deck. You must control a face-up Crashbug, the previous letter in the alphabet, to activate it to resolve this effect. So obviously, Crashbug X summons Z when you have Y, Y summons X when you have Z, Z summons Y when you have X. Yeah. So that's what they are. So yeah, that's going to be one heck of a screen into when I made this video tonight. Right, next up we have a copy of Doomdog Octhrus. Level 3, 800 attack and defense. Usually these cards are dark, by the way, Dark Tribute. And almost all of them, if not all of them, are going to be fiends. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, such as by trading for Raviel, add 1 level 8 fiend type monster from your deck to your hand. You then use this effect on this card once per turn. Now I do think that activates if you tribute it for Raviel. Yeah, it's an if effect, so therefore it still goes off, but you have to activate it, during that chain of events. So that's a nice effect. So yeah, that's really nice. It means you get it off of the tributing of Raviel, or not, when you tribute that card for Raviel, I mean. Next up we have 2 copies of Fiendish Rhino Warrior, which is an over tribute, so at least it's kind of warrior in a way. Fiend type monsters you control, except copies of this card, cannot be shown in battle or card effects. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send 1 fiend type monster from your deck to your graveyard, except no copy of this card. You only use each effect on this card once per turn. You can use this effect. So I'm saying, when you're about each effect, there's only one event you could activate once per turn in that sense. But yeah, that only once per turn effect. Next up we have Gap, the Defined Soldier. A Dark Fiend, level 6, 22 attack, 2000 defense. All monsters are changed to face with attack position, and their battle positions cannot be changed. Some effects are not activated at this time. Once returned, you can reveal any number of free-time monsters in your hand to give this card 300 time for each revealed card until the end phase. So really nice effect, and really nice card, I think. This is like well, yeah, I'll put a spoiler warning. This was actually in the manga, and the reason why it's called a Defiant Soldier is because it's based on the 3 wicked gods. And so what it would do is you've got to reveal I think you've got to reveal a wicked god card in your hand in order to give this card the boost. Which, to be fair, it's a bit, underwhelming as an effect, if you will. But as a real card, I think this is actually much better because, in fact, no, I know this card's much better because, or this effect is much better because you can reveal fiends, which is a kind of a generic type, if you will. And you can still use those fiends in the same turn, I mean, obviously you can still use the wicked gods as well in the same turn, but they're much harder to reveal, they're much harder to play, because they're like god cards, if you will. So, yeah, there is that, but this is a nice card, I think it's pretty alright. Kind of sucks that it requires a tribute, but, it is what it is, it's not too bad. Right, next up we got Garbage Lord. There's probably a hell of a lot more than just 2 of them, but hey, I only have 2 in this deck. 0 attack, 2400 defense on a level 5. You can special summon this card from your hand by paying 2000 life points. This card will never use as an Xyz material, except for the summon of a Dark Monster. Well, it cannot be used as an Xyz material for an Xyz summon, except for the summon of a Dark Monster. So I think that means you can Xyz material it other ways, but I'm not sure about that. Also, you can still synchro summon with it. So you can still just summon it out and then just synchro with it into a level 8 monster, with your level 3 soon or whatever. So it's really nice. Not too bad. And it's not once per turn either, so if you can get them back to your hand, you can summon them again. Just be wary that you're paying life points to summon them. So, speaking of Garbage Lords, we have Garbage Ogres. This card is 800 attack and 1300 defense. Level 3. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Add 1 Garbage Lord from your deck to your hand. You can use this effect of Garbage Ogre once per turn. So yeah, actually searches out Garbage Lord for you at no cost either. Well, you have to discard him, but still. Still a pretty nice effect. Next up we have Goblin King. Level 1 Dark Fiend, 0 attack and defense. While you control another 3-type monster, this card cannot be destroyed cannot be attacked. The attack and defense of this card are each equal to the number of 3-type monsters on the field, excluding this card, times 1000. So yeah, that's 1000 for every fiend on the field other than this card, including your opponent's monsters. So obviously just from your board alone, not counting the extra monsters, that's 4000 attack. Well, heck, with Raviel on the field, that's 3000 attack, if you have all 3. And then, obviously, if you have 2 copies of this card, they do give 1000 attack to each other. And then, that's not even taking into consideration your opponent's cards as well. Because remember, your opponent's fiends do count as well. That's kind of cool as well. This card, if you have 3 copies of this card, that's 2000 attack on each one. That's 6000 attack between them. That's really nice. And they can get up to 4000 each, so without the extra monster zones, that's 12,000 attack on just this level 1 monster. but that requires a full field. So, of 3 of them plus 2 more. Next up we have a Gold Ghost Rare, limited edition, wow, I didn't actually expect it to be this good, of Gorz, the Emissary of Darkness. I think I got this from a Gold series. I think that's what it is, GLD5. Wow, I didn't expect to have this. To be honest, I can't even remember having this card, and I sleeved this up. That would have been recently, well, I say recently, it would have been over 6 months ago now, but I mean, I would have sleeved this up after the escape. Anyway, when this card, when you take damage from a card your opponent controls, you can special summon this card from your hand. You must control no cards to activate and to resolve this effect. When special summoned this way, activate the appropriate effect based on the type of damage. Battle damage. Special summon 1 Emissary of Darkness token. Fairy type, light, level 7, question mark attack defense. Its attack and defense are each equal to the amount of bad damage you took. Or effect damage. Effect damage your opponent equal to the amount of damage you took. So that's a zero turn kill strategy right there, if you will, if you can, but you obviously it requires your opponent to take a bit of damage or you to gain a little bit of life points from your opponent based on like what happens and whatnot. So, you know. Next up we have Gravity Orb. I know it's so weird seeing like a really shiny, nice card, you know, and then to go from that to like a slightly battered card that's like not even shiny at all, that's kind of like not even, you know, that much if you will. Anyway, this card, level 3, flip effect monster, level of attack, 7 defense. Change the match positions of all visible monsters your opponent controls. So it's a feed type monster and it messes with your opponent a little bit, so it's really nice, you know, especially since they're probably going to attack into it. Well, I say probably, I don't keep it with the meta, bear in mind. They're probably going to attack into it, and then they're going to, all their monsters are going to swap positions, so now they can't attack, probably. So there is that. Next up we have Kukimu Doom, a wind monster. During each of your end phases, destroy this card unless you send one Iron Core of Kukimu from your hand to the graveyard, or reveal a feed type monster in your hand. So reveal any monster in your hand based on this deck. Effects of light and dark effect monsters that activate during the main phase are negated. So I think that does negate Raviel's effect. I think it negates both his effects actually, because he's a dark monster. And both of his effects activate mostly during the main phase. Well, his tributing for attack boost effect always activates during the main phase. The normal summon effect activates mostly during the main phase, as you can activate cards, well, your opponent can activate cards like Ultimate Offering to summon during the battle phase or whatever, so you'd get the tokens that way, but, you know, if anything, this just slows down the opponent a little bit, or it provides an extra tribute for Raviel, which, by the way, you can just summon this guy and then tribute it for Raviel, obviously with 2 other tributes, but, you know, so there's that. And he's got Sentinel attack as well, so he's not too bad. Especially since light and dark are pretty common types. Alright, another triple, hopefully. Yeah, another triple. I say triple, I mean I've got 5 cards here, but it's Malicious Fork, Malicious Knife, and Malicious Spoon. 2 copies of Fork and Knife. So, what these cards do, and I'll take pictures of all these as well, like the Crashbugs. Fork, what he does, so okay, so by the way, all these guys are dark level 2 feed monsters. Fork is 400 attack and defense, and its effect is, you can send one other feed type monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. Knife is 600 attack and 100 defense. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one malicious monster in your graveyard, which is basically one of these cards, except for another copy of itself, so basically the other 2 cards. Special summon that target. And Malicious Spoon, when a malicious monster with a different name is normal summoned, normal or special summoned shows out of the field, except during the damage step, you can target one level 2 feed type monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. Its effects are negated. You can only use this effect of Malicious Spoon once per turn. So, really nice cards right there, especially since, like, with the first 2, they set up pretty nicely on their own, you know. Malicious Spoon, though, like, you could, he targets, like, any level 2 feed, which I know I have other level 2 feeds in this deck. Don't know if I've gone over any yet, I can't recall, but I know the next card's going to be a level 2 feed. That isn't a malicious monster, obviously, you know. But yeah, that's a really nice effect. But obviously, Spoon needs to be in the field to activate that effect. So, you know, so there's that. Also, the next card is a level 2 feed called Mask of Darkness. This card's pretty well known. 900 attack, 400 defense. Flip, select a trap card from your graveyard and return to your hand. So nice effect. It's probably a little better in Armor Tile. Maybe a little better in Uriah as well. Just for the sake of having defense and whatever, but you know, it's still something, and you know, it's a nice little card. You know, so it means another target for Malicious Spoon as well. That isn't you know, a malicious monster. So not too bad. Next up we have Mist Archfiend, another archery monster. You can also summon this card without tributing. If you do, during the end phase, it is destroyed and you take 1000 damage. I think that always goes off the end phase destruction effect, so if you have Skilled Rain in the field, it will stay, but then if Skilled Rain is removed, or this card gets the effect back or whatever, then it will go off and it will destroy itself even if it's not the end phase. And you summoned it, so yeah, but pretty nice. And it's a level 5, 24 attack monster, so you know, you could normal summon this card and tribute it for Raviel's effect to give it 2400 attack, or you could tribute it, or you could normal summon this card, you know, and be another tribute fodder for, you know, it's really nice. The fact that I mentioned Skilled Rain though, maybe I should put it in my Armor Tile deck, but I'm not sure because Skilled Rain obviously negates everyone, as opposed to just whoever you want. And next up we have Necro Defender. Still attacking 800 defense. During your main phase, you can remove this card from. You remove and play this card from your graveyard, select one monster you control. If during your opponent's next end phase, that monster cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from battles involving it. So, a pretty nice effect. It's I mean, obviously it's good for tribute fodder for Raviel if you summon it and it then gets graveyard effect. It's and it's got, you know, that's basically it. I can't really speak too much on it, but hey, it's a level, yeah, it's another level 2 monster as well, so that's really nice. Right, next up we have a meta monster, or I guess you could call it that, or something like that. Is Raviel, the multi-dimensional kaiju. So I haven't gone over kaijus before my channel, I don't think, so I'll go over them now. You can special this card from your hand to your opponent's side of the field in attack position by tributing one monster they control. If your opponent controls a kaiju monster, you can special this card from your hand. In attack position, you can only control one kaiju monster. Once per turn, you can remove 2 kaiju counters from anywhere on the field, special one kaiju token, free type, dark, level 7, 20 attack and 7 defense, but it cannot be used as a sync material. It can be used as a link material, and it can be used as a tribute though, for a ritual summon or Raviel, so there's that. It is a once per turn. It does like a soft once per turn effect as well. So obviously, if you can bounce this card special something again or whatever, you know. But and that's the thing is as well, it doesn't matter what kaiju your opponent controls. You know, the only one kaiju effect thing there is that both players can only control one kaiju, but it doesn't matter if the same kaiju is on either field. So that's really nice. So you could summon another copy of this card to your opponent's side of the field, and then summon your own, and then get a bunch of counters or whatever, and then, you know, etc, etc. Alright, now we have a card that is kind of obvious, Sangan. When this card's pretty obvious. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, select one monster with an attack of 300 or less from your deck, treasure your opponent, and add to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. They did get errated though, so now their effect, I think the only errata their effect is that you can only activate this card once per turn, and you can't activate the added cards effect either. So if you add another Sangan, you can't activate, or if you add a Witch, for example, which is Black Forest, you can't activate Witch this turn, or summon it. I'm not entirely sure, but I know it's like a lot more restricted nowadays. But it is a when you do effect. I'm pretty sure that's, I don't know if that's what it's called, but it is a when you do effect. So when it happens, you activate the effect in that chain regardless, you don't get a choice. So, and you can tribute this card for Raviel, meaning you'd still get the effect. You still get the tribute of Raviel and you get a search. So it's really nice. Next up we have Stray Asmodean. Did I say Asmodean earlier? Is that what the other card was called? The level 3 chain guy that inflicts damage? When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard by battle, both players gain 800 life points. So a slightly nice war monster at 700 defense, and if your opponent destroys him in battle, both players get 800 life points. So you either get it as a tribute for Raviel, or you waste one of their cards, or however you waste one of their cards destroying it, or you gain like 800 life points. Well, you both players gain 800 life points, but still. Next up we have Tour Guide from the Underworld. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 3 free time monster from your hand or deck. Its effects negated and it can be used as a sync material monster. Bear in mind this card itself, she can still be used as a sync material monster, so therefore, you know, but obviously the obvious play is Xyz summons, so there's that as well. And plus it's 3-type monsters, so it's obviously really nice for this deck. That's already 2 of the tributes to Raviel, you just need to get 1 more. Next up we have Trap Eater. This card can have a normal summon set. This card cannot be special summoned except by sending 1 face-up trap card your opponent controls to the graveyard. So, quite nice card in a way, if you will. It's obviously not the best out there, but it's something. And I'm going to try and speedrun this because I'm only about halfway through the deck and it's half an hour already. Alright, next up we have Twin-Headed Wolf. When there's another face-up 3-type monster on your side of the field, including another copy of itself, they get the effect of flip effect monsters destroy a battle by this card. So, not too bad, not too... I mean, I know they made new flip effect monsters and whatnot, so there's at least that. And he does need to destroy it by battle, and he's only got 1500 attack, so it's not that great, but, you know, it's still something. And plus it's Fiend support, technically, so... Next up is Umbral Horror Ghost, 3 copies of it. During your main phase, you can special summon this card and 1 level 4 or lower 3-type monster from your hand. You don't know summon or send turn for its effect. You only use the effect of this card once per turn. So basically, it takes your normal summon and turns it into 2 special summons. Basically, really nice effect. Especially since that's 2 monsters already for your Raviel. 3 copies of Umbral Horror Ghoul. Once per turn, you can make this card attack 0, and if you do, special 1 Umbral Horror monster with 0 attack from your hand. So nice. I mean, he's 800 attack himself. Plus, bear in mind is that change to 0 attack is permanent as well. So if you want to do the effect again, you can. You just have to wait a turn as well. So, you know, but not bad, not bad. Next up is 2 copies of Umbral Horror Unform, who does have 0 attack, so that's really nice. For the other card, for the last card, I mean. When this card is destroyed by battle and sends to the graveyard while attacking a monster, you can special 2 Umbral Horror monsters from your deck. Then use the effect of this card once per turn. So again, another Swarmer, good for Raviel, but not good because it means you can't attack. So, you know, kind of pick your poison, I guess. Alright, next up is 3 copies of Phastasms. When this card is normal summoned, select 1 monster your opponent controls. Destroy that monster during your 3rd standby phase after the summon. This card can only be destroyed in battle until the effect is resolved. That tells me then that this card still restores even if this card is destroyed by card effect. But obviously it's your 3rd standby phase afterwards, so it's a bit, you know, it's kind of weak, you know, it's considering how long it takes, you know. Alright, next up we have 2 copies of another old card called Wall of Illusion. The monster attacking this monster is returned to its owner's hand. The damage calculation is applied normally. That's obviously a very old card text. Not the oldest, but because I know there was a card text saying like it said like if a creature attacks this or whatever, returns, you know, it called the monster a creature, which is really weird. Alright, the last effect monster of the deck, Xyz Avenger. This card is unaffected by the effects of Xyz Monsters. When this card is destroyed in battle with an Xyz monster and sent to the graveyard, add it on its effects, depending on the rank of the Xyz monster that destroyed this card. So first of all, it's rank 3 or lower. The opponent sends 1 card from the extra deck to the graveyard. Rank 4, choose 1 card in your opponent's extra deck and send it to the graveyard. Rank 5 or higher, your opponent sends as many cards from their extra deck to the graveyard as possible, but not more than the Xyz monster's rank. I was about to say that kind of stuff, why wouldn't they not just pick 0, but then obviously I realised, oh right, yeah, they have to send as many as possible. So, yeah, it's a really nice effect, but obviously it's anti-Xyz, so it's a bit, you know. Alright, time for rituals. Yeah, we actually have some rituals in this deck. First of all, we have 2 copies of Dark Master Sorg. You can ritual summon this card with contract with the Dark Master. Once a turn, you can roll a 6-sided die, then destroy all monster opponent controls if you roll a 1 or 2, destroy 1 monster opponent controls if you roll a 3, 4 or 5, Also, all monsters you control if you roll a 6. So obviously it's quite a nice card. It can get rid of a bunch of your opponent's monsters, and but there's a slight chance that you might end up, destroying all your own monsters. So, but pretty nice effect. It's an effect on a ritual. Given it a sword, you'd expect it to be a bit stronger than that, though. Yeah, both in effect and stats, but I guess it is what it is. And oh wow, we're already at the end of the ritual monsters. And that is 2 copies of Masked Beast. You can ritual summon this card with Curse of the Masked Beast, which I think this is the strongest in terms of attack ritual monster, at least back in the day. Maybe even in level as well, because it had 3200 attack. And, well, I mean, it still has 3200 attack, I just mean it's probably not the strongest anymore, but obviously it's got no effect, it's just a vanilla ritual monster, so. Alright, time for the spells. First one is Contract with the Dark Master. This card is used to rituals on Dark Master Zog. You must also treat monsters from your hand or field whose total level equals 8 or more. So nothing special, just the most generic of ritual spells for Dark Master Zorg. Next up is Curse of the Masked Beast. Basically the same card but for Masked Beast. Literally the same card, even down to the level is the same card. Because obviously both are level 8. So. Next up is Dark Eruption, a pretty obvious card for this kind. Well, not pretty obvious, but obvious enough card for this deck. Target a dark monster with 1500 or less attack from your graveyard, add it to your hand. So really nice card right there. It gets you a card back from, gets you basically most of your cards. Can't get you back Raviel, unfortunately, but hey, it is what it is. And finally, Mystic Plasma Zone. Increase the attack of all dark monsters by 500 and decrease the defense by 400. So obviously I know it's a field spell, it's a very old one, but it's something. It's I kind of like the old field spell. I kind of have a little bit of a soft spot for them as well because they're something, I guess. They're weird, very old cards. Alright, time for the trap cards. We have Crush Card Virus version 1. Yes, I did write on the card, which, to be fair, I mean, this was back when Crush Card Virus version 2, when they erased it. So I thought, I'll just write on the card, and I don't plan on selling these cards anyway, so it's not like, so it's not, so I've only ruined the value of my own card, and it's not like I've done it to someone else's, so, But yeah, preferably, like, Crush Card Virus, when they made the errata, I kind of wish they just renamed this card, the original card, Crush Card Virus version 1, and then the re-errata, just call it Crush Card Virus version 2, and then say, give both the effect, this card is literally named Crush Card Virus, just for the sake of argument, but anyway. So this is obviously the old version of Crush Card Virus. This effect being, tribute 1 dark monster with a fast or less attack. Take all monster opponent controls in your opponent's hand, and all cards they draw until they're to the end of your opponent's 3rd turn after this card's activation, and destroy all monsters with 300 or more attack. So obviously really powerful card, I don't really need to go too much into it. I remember one duel though, I'll make this quick. I remember one duel where someone, I can't remember the exact what we exactly did, but they activated Shrink, I think, on one of their monsters to make it, because the monster was like bigger than 1500 but smaller than 3000. So they activated Shrink on it to to be able to sacrifice, to be able to keep the monster on the field, so that it wouldn't be affected by Crush Card Virus for a turn. Obviously Shrink would fade at the end phase, so therefore it would go back up and die, but they'd probably be able to tribute it or something, so something else or whatever for an effect, or not for an effect because somehow I managed to bounce back up, through compulsory evacuation device, I think. So I actually, which obviously returns to the hand, and then now, they've got a new card in the hand, I gotta check it. I obviously know it's that card, and because it's got more than 1500 attack, it dies to Crush Card Virus. So that's a cool little thing that happened there. That was really nice. But it was a cool little play, if you will. I think it was, you know what I mean. It's one of those things. All right, next up we have 3 copies of Damage Translation. No way, I'm not asking. I just got anyway. Half all effect damage you take this turn. During the end phase this turn, special summon 1 ghost token, fiend type, dark, level 1, attack defense 0, in defense position for each time you took effect damage this turn. So I think that first effect, half soul effect damage, you take after activation, but the summoning effect is overall. So if you take like, so you know, if you take 300 damage and then later you activate damage translation, and then later you take another 300 damage, it'll be 150. You only half that second amount, but you get 2 tokens still, and obviously all these stack as well. I'm pretty sure. So if you half 300 damage, you know, that goes down to 150, obviously, then to 75, obviously, and then what's half of 75? 37 and a half. So I think effect damage rounds down, I think. So that'll be 37 damage right there. So, you know, and then each one will give you a token as well. You know, how many does it summon anyway? Does it summon 1 ghost? So yeah, I'm not sure if it would summon all the ghost tokens if it's too many. Like if it's supposed to summon 6, and you only have space for 5. I'm not sure if it would do that, but yeah, that's neither here nor there, I guess. But it's something that, you know, sort of I need to look into. Next up is Descending Lost Star. Select one synchro monster in your graveyard and special summon it in face with defense position. Its defense is negated, level reduced by 1, and its defense becomes 0. Past position cannot be changed. So again, good for your, you know, summoning out a fiend to tribute for Raviel. Obviously good for synchropates and other stuff as well, but the main idea here is getting out another fiend type monster for Raviel. So that's the main idea with this card being in the deck. And next we have Fiend Griefing. Target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, then you can mill a fiend type monster from your deck to your graveyard. So yeah, it's something. I mean, it mills a fiend, so like your Necro Gardener for example, or maybe another card that might be good in the graveyard. It can't mill a synchro obviously, but even if you could, you wouldn't. Anyway, but yeah, it's a nice little card. It's a trap card as well, so if your opponent tries to monster reborn something, you can just activate that response to it. I'm pretty sure it will work on that monster, which is really nice. Next we have Hate Buster. When a fiend type monster you control is targeted for an attack, target the opponent's attacking monster and that monster you control. Destroy both targets, and if you do, have the damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of the opponent's destroyed monster. So that's really nice. It obviously works on fiends, but obviously it's good for, you know, and you don't take the damage, you don't take any damage whatsoever, and your opponent takes only the effect damage of the monster that they attacked with. So if they try to attack into your Raviel, you'd lose your Raviel of course, but the opponent would only take damage based on their monster, not based on yours as well. But then they'll probably be a bit powerful if they did so. Next up we have Statue of the Wicked. When this face down card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, special summon 1 Wicked token, fiend type, dark, level 4, attack and defense 1 fastened, to your side of the field. So really nice. You know, it's a trap that's a spell technically, because you can just set it and then activate someone like Heavy Storm, get rid of it like that, and then you got a token. You know, so it's like that, if you will. It's kind of nice, and obviously it gets you another token, a fiend type token for your Raviel. You know. And finally, for the traps, we have Tuner Capture. Activate only when your opponent synchro summons a monster. Special summon 1 Tuner monster used for the synchro summon from their graveyard to your side of the field. So it does need to be their tuner as well, as well as their synchro obviously, but it can be any of the tuners used for their synchro summon. You know, I think it has to be a tuner in the graveyard though. I think it's gonna be a tuner, but it kind of reads like it doesn't. Like it's just gonna be treated as a tuner, you know, like it's the tuner, if you will, in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? You know, it's like something like that. So, alright, I'm not done with you yet. I actually still have Xyz Monsters to tackle. So first of all, we have Humming the Key Edition. Requires 2 level 3s and is a water fiend type monster. All these are fiends, by the way, I'm pretty sure. I'll say if not. Then another attack and ancient defense. When this card is special summoned, when this card is special, you can target one Xyz Xyz Monster in your graveyard, special it, then you can attach up to 2 cards from your hand to its material. Once per turn, you can attach one material from this card and target one Xyz Xyz Monster you control. This turn, it can attack your opponent directly. So that's really nice. It's a monster reborn and a Xyz monster, and it can make them attack directly as well. Next up, we have Maestroke, the Symphony Xyz. Requires 2 level 4 monsters and has 800 attack and 2300 defense. Once per turn, you can attach material from this card and then target one face-up attack monster your opponent controls, increasing defense down to first position. If a Xyz Xyz monster controls will be destroyed, you can attach one material from that monster instead. So that effect protects the Xyz monsters at the cost of their own material. So that first one, if we had both this card on the field and that Xyz monster, that Xyz monster would lose material if you want to protect that card. It's to protect themselves kind of thing. Next up, we have Mellow Melody, the Brass Xyz. Requires 2 level 3s, Light, Tribute, 1400 and 1600, 400 attack, 600 defense. Once per turn, you can attach material from this card to target one Xyz Xyz monster control. This turn, that monster can attack twice during each battle phase. So if you combine that with the attack directly effect on that same monster, then they can attack directly twice, which is really nice. It's basically double the attack as damage, which is really nice. But obviously it's 2 attacks, so bear that in mind. Next up, we have Musu Rhythm, the String Xyz. When the tribute requires 2 level 3s, 1500 attack and 1000 defense. During the damage step, when a Xyz Xyz monster control is attacking an opponent's monster, you can attach one material from this card. The attacking monster's attack is doubled until the end phase. The effect of this card can only be used once per turn. So this card actually has a hard once per turn, whereas the others only have a soft once per turn. But on top of that as well, they've got to be attacking the monster as well, so it can't be like a direct attack where they get to attack directly. But bearing in mind, that effect is optional. So I mean, obviously, why would you activate it in the first place if they were attacking once anyway? But if they can attack twice, you can choose to one attack directly, another attack a monster, and bear in mind this card's effect of doubling the attack lasts until the end phase. So you can attack a monster, attack an opponent's monster, have this card double its attack, and then attack directly with the doubled attack. So there is that. That's really nice, and its current attack as well, I think. Yeah, current attack is doubled. So there is that. That's a really nice effect right there. Even if it is hard once per, I don't blame it for being hard once per turn. And finally, we have the Earth Tribute Tempo, the Percussion Xyz. 700 attack and 1 fast defense, 2 level 3s. Once per turn, during our player's turn, you can attach one material from this card, target one X monster your opponent controls, attach one material from that monster, and all phase up the Xyz X monster you currently control gain 500 attack. So that attack gain is obviously permanent. It just sucks that this card requires your opponent to have Xyz monsters as well to activate its effects. Because obviously not every opponent's going to have Xyzs, but I guess to the catch, you can say the same for the catch, but anyway. Alright, wow, 50 minutes now, at least in recording. I do apologise if I'm keeping you too long, but yeah, at least I'm providing timestamps now, so that's something nice at least. So yeah, like I said, I wanted to get these 3 done, these 3 deck profiles done, something to get them out of the way, and so I can edit these ones as well. Now, I may do 2 more deck profiles soon, but I'm not going to release them for a while now because I do want to. I do have what is it? It's like I said, I've got to sort my cards out. That's it. I've got to sort my cards out, which, like I said, I will do soon when I'm doing the replica deck project. So that will get started soon, in all fairness. So there's at least that, which I don't know what I'm going to do with replica deck projects in terms of in terms of making videos on it or anything. I probably won't, to be fair. I'll still provide updates on it on occasion here, on the YouTube videos, and in the relevant YouTube videos anyway, of course. But for now, it's more like, it's not anything like, it's just sort of like something that I'm doing myself, if you will, something that I don't mind sharing, if you will. So there's that as well. So it's that's that. And then when it comes to say like the replica decks, I do, like I said, I do want to remake some decks. So like that's what the version 1 means, is that I might when I revamp the deck, and I want to redo it, if you will. I want to re-show off the deck, the updated deck, if you will. So that's what the version 1 means in these titles. So there's that. But otherwise, yeah, this series is now going on a proper hiatus now until I can get my deck sorted and whatnot. So if there's any deck profiles you want to see updated, or anything like, any sort of like, or any deck ideas you want me to see about doing, I'll see about doing them, and I'll do my best to do them. I can't promise anything, but I'll definitely do what I can to make them and whatnot, that kind of thing. So, that's something to look forward to. So, yeah, if that's interests you, let me know any ideas you've got, and then I'll do my best to do them and whatnot. Alright, so like I said, that's it for now. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and putting up with me for another hour almost. And yeah, I'll see you in a while. Well, I'll see you in my other series. Alright, have a Mickey day, everyone.